Welcome back. Today we are doing windows. We're installing all the windows into the bus. We would really appreciate if you follow us on Instagram at Freedom25Bus. Also make sure to subscribe and like this video on YouTube. I am Victoria.
And I'm Rory, and these are our two dogs, Misty and Kita. We live in beautiful British Columbia, Canada.
We are converting our 2004 Thomas bus, named Freedom 25, into our home on wheels so that we can get out, explore, adventure, and do more of the things we love. Because experiences are more sacred than materials. Rory's out there right now putting this window in. And we've already cut out the front driver's window as well. We have a few more to do here. So we're also going to be putting a window right here. This will be the kitchen window. This will be the living room window. It's a pretty big one, it's 5 by 3. And then this is the bathroom window. This is the bedroom window and the other bedroom window right here. We also do have a driver's door window, or a driver's side window up the front right here. And then our front door will have a window as well. So I think we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 windows in total in the whole bus. The windows that we bought are from Sunview Windows in Summerland, BC. They are thermal double pane windows. We do live in Canada, so we wanted to make sure we replaced our windows with some windows that are going to have a little bit higher of an R value and keep us warm in the winter. We're putting 6 windows in total, not including the door that's going to have a window as well. I think the window sizes we've got are 5 by 3, 3 by 2, 1.5 by 1.5, and 2 by 3, 2 of those for the bedroom windows. We decided to get white windows because we're going to be painting the bus white and then also doing a mural on it. I do paint, so I want to do some type of mountain mural with trees. We'll do some color, and probably we'll be doing that next spring. So this spring we're going to be focusing on getting the bus primed, getting the base coat on or a few coats on of white paint, and then I'm thinking next spring we'll probably end up doing the mural before we take the bus on the road.
Ooh, shiny! Alright, let's see. Here's one of our bedroom windows. Comes with a finish ring for the inside. And the slider. And it's got a screen as well, which we're going to take out. Alright, I've got my kitchen window here, upside down on a couple sawhorses. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to measure. It's hard to do with one hand. Alright, I'm going to measure across, and I see I have just under 36 inches here, so I'm going to call that 36 just to give myself a bit of wiggle room, and then I'll also measure the other way. Let's see if we can focus. Focus. Alright, and that's 30 there. So 36 by 30. I'm going to take my drill into the bus. And this is the kitchen window opening. I made them a little bit bigger than the windows so that I have some room to play. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure out my window on the inside here, pop some holes through to the outside with my drill, and then I'll line up those holes on the outside to mark out my window opening on the outside of the bus so I can cut it from the outside. 30 by 36, and this right now is 36.5 by 30.5, so we have a little bit of room to play there. I want my window to sit down to the bottom as much as possible, but still a little bit of a gap to give myself some spray foam below it. So I'm going to start from the bottom here and measure up. So 30 inches right there. And same over here. 30 inches right there. And what I'll do is I'll just come in, because I have 36.5, I'll just come 1/4 inch in here. Come up a little higher. 1/4 inch there. And 1/4 inch there. And same on the other side. Grab my drill and punch a hole. Alright, so I've got my framing square, and I'm just going to line up the lines here. And I've got the framing square just to make sure that the corners all stay square to each other, so that when I cut it out, my window will actually fit. Alright, so now that I have the rectangle all drawn out, I've made up a template on a piece of Bristol board for the radius corner of the window. So I'll grab that and trace that onto all 4 corners. So you can see here, I've got my radius cut out, and I'm just going to line up this edge with one of my lines, and this edge with one of my lines, and then just draw this in. So we ran into a bit of a problem. See this window behind me here? It was supposed to be a 5 foot by 3 foot window, and I was just about to cut it out. Measuring inside here, I had framed this opening here is a 5 foot by 3 foot opening. So I've been checking all my windows before I cut out the sheet metal, because the last thing I need is to cut out a bigger opening than I need. So I measured this window, and it is 5 feet wide, but only 30 inches tall. So I'm very glad that I caught that before I cut anything out. I'm a little disappointed because we did want a nice big window in our living room, but 6 inches less, not a big deal, and we don't have any more time to wait for another window. We looked at the packing slip. Fortunately, the mistake was made on the order, so they didn't charge us for a 5 foot by 3 foot window. They only charged us for the 5 by 30 inch. So we're just going to install it, and I guess the first mistake on the bus so far. But we're just going to roll with it, and I'll have a gap underneath the window, which I'll show you once I get it installed there, and we'll just deal with it. Still a really nice window, actually. I kind of thought about it too. It's going to be kind of where our desk is for Victoria's work, and I thought, hey, well, maybe that gives us a good chance to put an extra plug above the desk for her computer or whatever it may be, instead of having just the plugs underneath, because originally with the big window we wouldn't have had enough room to put a plug under there. Anyway, I'm gonna keep going. I spray painted one of the windows that I'd cut out just to test things, make sure I know what I'm doing before I tell you guys what to do. So our paint didn't work. I can scratch it off with my fingernail, so that's no good. We're gonna run down to the hardware store and get self-etching primer. Hopefully that will be better. But we'll cut all the windows out today, spray paint them all, and then I'll make sure that that self-etching primer is working the way I want it to before we install any more of the windows. Alright, when we're done sanding, use some isopropyl alcohol or mineral spirits or something like that. And we're just cleaning up the whole outside here. Make sure it's nice and clean for paint. See? Lots of dirt on there. Get the other side here.
So I just sanded around this window here, and we're going to put some primer on it because we haven't painted the bus yet, but we're putting the windows in before painting. So I'm going to prime around where the window is going to be so that it's rust prevented behind the window.
Okay, so we found some paint that's primer that's going to work for us. It's actually a specific galvanized metal primer, so we're going to try that. Don't forget to shake your can. I've been thinking about how to install these windows without the inside, I don't know what they call it, trim piece or whatever. What the inside trim piece does is basically it sandwiches the window between the interior finishing and the exterior finishing. That's how they normally put these RV windows in, like they bid the whole RV and then put the windows in last. I don't want to do that because I don't want to have holes in our bus forever. So what I've decided to do is basically put one screw in each corner, and the reason for that is all the framing is all square, so I have this corner here of sheet metal that I can attach to without hitting anything behind it on all four corners, and that's on all the windows you can see here. I'll give you a better, this is one of the ones that I actually framed in, and you can see here so that there's nothing behind this piece of sheet metal so that a screw can go through no problem without hitting this really hard steel. And then later on we might decide to put more screws actually into the steel itself. But for now, the four corners is going to work. So what I'm doing in the shop here is I'm taking my square and I'm lining it up with, you see this black edge here? I'm lining the outside up, and it doesn't have to be, your windows might be different, it doesn't have to be this exact way. You'll see what I mean in a second. And so I'm lining it up over here and down here, and that'll tell me exactly where my corner is, and then I'm just gonna put a little mark right there and I'll drill a hole just inside of that. So I'm gonna do that on all four corners. So I have these metal screws here. They're as you can see, they're not self-tapping, so what I'm doing is using my drill and a drill bit, and we're gonna find that mark there, come in just a little bit, just enough for the head of the screw to not interfere with anything. And we're gonna go ahead and poke a hole through there, just like so, and do that on all four corners. Now that I've got the holes cut in the corner, Victoria's holding the window in place for me here. So what we're going to do is make sure that it's in the right spot, and she's holding it in a certain angle right now. And then just pop your drill bit through that same hole. and don't break your drill bit. Cool. Alright, attempt number 2. Found a different drill bit. I'm not going to push as hard this time. There we go. Okay, and Victoria's going to hold the window just exactly where it is. And I'm going to do all 4 corners. Okay, now that all the holes are drilled, we're going to take this window back out.
So I just put sealant around the whole frame of the window here. That black stuff is the sealant. Right there. We made sure to drill the holes before we put the sealant on because the other window we didn't do it that way, and when we drilled the holes it wrapped up the sealant and kind of stretched it out and messed up the seal. So we made sure that the holes, which are on the other side of this, were drilled before we put the sealant on. And now when we put it on, the screw should go right through this and not wrap it up and stretch out the sealant and kind of mess it up that way. So this is all got sealant on it now, and we'll make sure to do that on every single window. So we noticed that when we installed the windows, we could see a little bit of light coming in through the edges here. So what we're going to do is add some more screws, I think, to the top and bottom of some of the windows, and also on the sides, just to make sure it's fully sealed.
So we noticed the sealant, or the butyl tape here, kind of squishing out as it gets warmer. So what we're going to do is we're going to wait for summer and wait for that to kind of like ooze out and really seal everything up. And then we'll take a alpha knife, X-Acto knife, and just cut it all away. And we'll run a bead of like silicone or something like that before we paint the bus.
Before we put these windows in, it was really dark in here, even with these lights up. It was really dark in here still, hard to see what we were doing. So we figured putting the windows in would definitely brighten it up, so it's easier to work on the interior of the bus. And we also want to finish the exterior of the bus. We're at the point that we're a little bit over working with metal, so we want to finish sanding the outside of the bus and painting the bus so that we're done with the exterior for a while, and we can really just focus on the inside here and get that going for the summertime. If you like these videos and they're helping you with your own bus build, we would really appreciate if you liked us and followed us on Instagram at Freedom25Bus, and also liked this video and subscribed to our channel on YouTube here. Thanks for watching.